Walk into any Mazda dealership for a routine oil change, and you might walk out $900 poorer with services you never needed. Sound familiar? It should, because dealership upselling has become an epidemic, and Mazda owners are prime target. I've worked on Mazdas for over 15 years, and I see the aftermath of these schemes every single day. Today, I'm exposing the 10 most common Mazda dealership scams that are costing owners thousands of unnecessary dollars. Some of these are borderline criminal. Others are just aggressive upselling, but all of them are designed to separate you from your money. Keep watching, because knowing these tactics could save you from losing $2,500 on your next service visit. Let's get into it. Scam 1. The safety inspection scare tactic. You bring your Mazda 3 or CX-5 in for a basic oil change. 30 minutes later, the service advisor calls with urgent safety concern. Your brake fluid is contaminated. Your cabin air filter is completely clogged. Your transmission fluid is burnt black and needs immediate replacement to prevent transmission failure. Here's the truth. Most of these urgent issues are either normal wear or completely fabricated. I've had customers bring me contaminated brake fluid that tested at 2% moisture content, well within safe limit. I've seen completely clogged cabin air filters that had months of life left. I've tested burnt transmission fluid that still met all Mazda specifications. The scam works because they show you scary looking photos or dirty components. But here's what they don't tell you. Some discoloration is normal. Some debris is expected. Some wear is acceptable. A slightly dark cabin air filter isn't dangerous. Brake fluid that's not crystal clear isn't necessarily contaminated. Here's how to protect yourself. Always ask for specific measurement standard. If your brake fluid is contaminated, ask what the moisture content reading is. Brake fluid should be replaced at 3% to 4% moisture content, not because it looks slightly amber colored. Request to see the actual components in person, not just photos. Don't accept close-up pictures that make normal wear look catastrophic. I've seen dealers photograph brake pads at extreme angles to make 50% pad life look like 10%. Get a second opinion before authorizing expensive repairs. Any urgent repair that can wait 24 hours for a second opinion probably isn't that urgent. If your brakes were safe to drive to the dealership, they're safe to drive to an independent shop for verification. Ask for the old parts back. Legitimate repairs generate old parts. If they can or won't show you what they replaced, be very suspicious. That's a red flag that the work wasn't done or wasn't necessary. And if you think that's bad, wait till you hear about the transmission flush trap that's destroying perfectly good Mazda transmissions. Scam 2. The transmission flush disaster. This one's particularly insidious because it can actually damage your Mazda. You're told your transmission fluid looks dirty and needs a complete power flush. The service costs $350 to $450, and they promise it will make your 6-speed automatic shift like new again. Here's the problem. High-mileage Mazda transmissions should never be power flushed. Your transmission contains clutch packs that wear over time, creating microscopic metal particles in the fluid. Counterintuitively, some of these particles actually help worn clutches maintain proper friction and grip. When you power flush a transmission with over 80,000 miles, you remove all the fluid, including the particles that are helping your transmission function. The result: slipping, harsh shifts, or complete transmission failure within days or weeks. I've seen this destroy perfectly functioning transmissions in CX-5, Mazda 6s, and Mazda 3s with 120,000 to 150,000 miles. The owners thought they were being proactive with maintenance, but they actually killed their transmission. One customer paid $400 for a flush and needed $4,200 transmission replacement 3 weeks later. The safe approach? Simple drain and fill every 60,000 miles using genuine Mazda ATFZ fluid. This removes about 40% of the old fluid while leaving enough to maintain proper clutch function and friction characteristics. You refresh the fluid without shocking the system. If a Mazda dealership insists on a power flush for a transmission with over 80,000 miles, walk away immediately. That's either incompetence or intentional sabotage to create future repair business. And here's what most Mazda owners don't know. Your owner's manual never recommends power flushing. It specifies drain and fill service only. Dealerships push flushes because they're more expensive and, in many cases, lead to transmission replacements that generate even more profit. Next up, the premium oil scam that adds $80 to every oil change for absolutely no benefit. Scam 3. The premium oil markup. Your Mazda needs an oil change. Simple, right? Not according to the service advisor, who explains that your sophisticated Skyactive engine requires premium synthetic oil that costs $13 per quart instead of basic synthetic at $7 per quart. This is pure markup manipulation designed specifically for Skyactiv engine owners. Dealerships know that Skyactiv sounds high-tech and expensive, so they've created premium oil packages to exploit that perception. Here's the truth. Quality synthetic oils from Mobil 1, Castrol, Valvoline, or Pennzoil provide identical protection to dealer-branded Skyactiv oils. The only difference is the label and the price. I've analyzed dealer premium oils and found them to be standard full synthetic formulations with fancy Mazda branded packaging. Your Mazda manual specifies viscosity and performance standards, not brand. Any oil meeting ILSAC GF6, a standards and 0W20 weight will protect your Skyactiv engine perfectly. That's what matters, not whether it has a Mazda logo on the bottle. Dealer oil change prices for Skyactiv engines should never exceed $80 to $100 for full synthetic with filter. If they're quoting $150 to $180, you're being massively overcharged. That's $60 to $80 in pure markup on 5 quarts of oil. Here's what to do. Research oil prices before your appointment. You can buy 5 quarts of Mobil 10W20 and a quality filter for $35 to $45 at Walmart or Amazon. If the dealer is charging triple that, you know they're gouging you. Ask specifically what oil they're using. If they can't tell you the brand or specification beyond Mazda Premium, that's a red flag. Legitimate oils have clear API and ILSAC certification marks. Consider independent shops or quick lube places that use quality synthetic. Many offer Skyactiv oil changes for $60 to $70, half the dealer price with identical protection. And speaking of overpriced services Mazda dealerships love to push, let's talk about the carbon cleaning con. Scam 4. The carbon cleaning. Modern Skyactiv engines with direct injection can develop carbon buildup on intake valves over time. This is a real issue that eventually needs addressing around 80,000 to 100,000 miles. But Mazda dealerships have turned it into a gold mine by pushing unnecessary cleaning services. They'll tell you that your Mazda 3 or CX-5 definitely has carbon buildup and needs immediate professional cleaning at $700 to $1,000. They might even show you photos of severely carbon valves from completely different engines or vehicles with 200,000 miles of neglect. Here's what they don't tell you. Not all carbon buildup requires immediate attention. Slight buildup is completely normal in direct injection engines and doesn't affect performance. Many dealer carbon cleaning services are just expensive fuel additives run through the intake system. That's a $15 bottle of cleaner you're paying $800 for. True carbon removal requires physical cleaning with walnut shell blasting or manual scraping after removing the intake manifold. That's legitimate work, but it shouldn't be needed before 80,000 to 100,000 miles unless you have specific symptoms. Carbon buildup symptoms are very specific. Rough idle that gets worse over time. Misfires, especially on cold starts. Noticeably reduced power and acceleration. Poor fuel economy that drops by 3 to 5 miles per gallon. If your Mazda runs perfectly fine with no check engine light, you probably don't have significant carbon buildup yet. Before authorizing carbon cleaning, demand a bore scope inspection to actually see your intake valves. Don't accept generic photos, assumptions, or "we know Skyactiv engines get carbon buildup" explanations. Make them prove your specific engine needs cleaning. Request specific symptoms that indicate cleaning is necessary. If they can't point to actual performance issues you're experiencing, you don't need the service yet. Get quotes from independent shops that specialize in Skyactiv engine. True walnut blasting carbon removal should cost $400 to $600, not $1,000. If your dealer is charging more, they're padding the bill. And here's a pro tip. You can prevent most carbon buildup by using top-tier gasoline and adding a bottle of CRC GDIIVD. Cleaner every 5,000 miles. That's $12 every oil change instead of $800 for professional cleaning later. Next, the cooling system scam that turns a $100 service into a $400 nightmare. Scam 5. Cooling system, flush markup. Your Mazda needs coolant service at 60,000 miles. The dealer quotes $350 to $450 for a complete flush and fill. A proper coolant service means draining old coolant, flushing with distilled water, and refilling with Mazda FFL22 coolant. This should cost $120 to $180 at independent shops. Dealerships inflate prices by charging for premium Mazda-branded coolant that costs twice as much as equivalent products. They add pressure testing without asking, padding $60 to $80. They include unnecessary services like thermostat replacement you didn't request. How to avoid this? Ask for drain and fill only, not additional services. Get an itemized quote showing parts, labor, and coolant costs separately. A gallon of Mazda FL22 costs $25 to $30. If they charge $80, that's pure markup. Verify they use genuine Mazda FL22 or equivalent meeting Mazda specs. Never let them substitute generic green coolant or Dex Cool. Those damage Skyactive aluminum components. Refuse add-ons unless you requested them. If your cooling system worked fine when you arrived, you don't need a new thermostat. Scam 6. The brake job bait and switch. You're told your front brake pads need replacement. The quote seems fair at $280 to $350 for pads and labor. You approve and leave. When you return, the bill is $950 to $1,300. They discovered warped rotors, contaminated brake fluid, worn rear brakes, and sticking caliper. A simple pad replacement became a complete brake overhaul. The truth? Rotors rarely need replacement with every pad change. Modern Mazda rotors can be resurfaced 2 to 3 times before replacement. Most rotors are within spec when pads wear out. Brake fluid doesn't contaminate overnight. If it tested fine 6 months ago, it's still fine now. Moisture absorption takes years, not months. Calipers working fine yesterday don't suddenly need rebuilding today. Rear brakes last twice as long as front. If fronts need pads, rears probably have 40% to 50% life left. How to protect yourself. Get a written estimate specifying exactly what will be replaced. Any additional work requires your approval before they start. Don't accept "we found this problem" calls unless you approved inspection. Ask to see damaged components in person. Legitimate rotor warping is visible and obvious. Question any repair that doubles the original estimate. Get a second opinion on brake work over $1,000 before authorizing anything. Next, the scheduled maintenance package scam that bundles unnecessary services. Scam 7. The maintenance package trap. Your Mazda hits 60,000 miles. The dealer presents a comprehensive maintenance package costing $1,800 to $2,800. They call it factory recommended and imply your warranty depends on it. This is fear-based selling. While your Mazda needs specific services at 60,000 miles, dealer packages are loaded with unnecessary items to inflate the bill. What they do? Include services scheduled for higher mileages. Your transmission fluid might not be due until 90,000 miles, but it's in the 60,000 mile package. Add inspections where technicians glance at components without servicing them. You pay $40 to $60 for someone to check a box. Include fluid changes for systems that don't need service at that interval. Mazda doesn't call for differential fluid change at 60,000 miles on most FWD models, but dealers include it anyway. Use premium products costing twice as much. Premium cabin filters with activated charcoal cost $45 versus $15 for standard filters that work just as well. How to protect yourself. Compare the dealer package to your owner's manual maintenance schedule. You'll find significant differences. Request only services listed in your manual for that mileage. For most Mazdas at 60,000 miles, that's oil change, tire rotation, brake inspection, and maybe coolant replacement. That costs $200 to $300, not $2,000. Get individual quotes for each service to identify overpriced item. Consider independent Mazda specialists. They charge 40% to 50% less for identical services. Verify warranty requirements. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act protects your right to have maintenance performed anywhere using proper parts and procedures. Next, the extended warranty pressure sale preying on your fear of expensive repairs. Scam 8. The extended warranty trap. You're picking up your Mazda when the finance manager approaches with an exclusive opportunity. For just $120 to $180 per month, you can extend your warranty and protect against expensive Skyactive engine or transmission repairs. Extended warranties are rarely worth the cost for reliable vehicles like Mazda. They exclude many common failures. Wear parts like brake pads and tires aren't covered. Electronics often get excluded. Any damage from lack of maintenance gets denied, even with perfect service records. The markup is massive. That $4,000 extended warranty costs the dealer $800 to $1,200 wholesale. You're paying 300% to 500% markup for coverage you probably won't use. Claims get denied on technicalities. Oil change was at 5,200 miles instead of 5,000, claim denied. Independent shops may not accept the warranty, limiting you to expensive dealers. Calculate total cost first. 5 years at $150 monthly equals $9,000. Most Mazdas won't have $9,000 in repairs during that period. You're better off saving that money yourself. Skyactive engines are extremely reliable. CX-5s, Mazda 3s, and Mazda 6s regularly exceed 200,000 miles without major repairs. Your odds of needing expensive warranty work are low. Skip the extended warranty trap. Scam 9. The diagnostic fee. Scam: your check engine light comes on in your Mazda 3. The dealer charges $150 to $220 for computer diagnostic time, then says the actual repair costs extra. Modern diagnostic equipment reads fault codes in 10 to 20 minutes. Charging 2 to 3 hours of shop time at $120 to $150 per hour for basic code reading is excessive. Auto parts stores like AutoZone and O'Reilly read codes for free. You can buy your own OBD2 scanner for $25 to $40 and read codes yourself in 2 minutes. Get codes read at parts stores before visiting the dealer. When they quote diagnosis, say, "I already know it's code P0171. Find the cause, not the code I already have." Simple code reading shouldn't exceed $60 to $120. Question diagnostic fees over $100 unless complex testing is involved. Ask what specific tests justify the time. If they can't explain what they're doing for 2 hours, you're being overcharged. Scam 10. The parts markup scheme. Your Mazda needs a new alternator. The dealer quotes $720 for the part plus $220 labor. Total $940. You check online and find the exact same OEM Mazda alternator for $240. Dealers routinely mark up parts 200% to 300%. A $15 cabin air filter becomes $65 at the dealer. A $180 fuel pump becomes $480. You're paying $300 to $400 extra per repair purely for markup. Research part prices online before authorizing repairs. Websites like RockAuto or Amazon have significantly better prices. A genuine Mazda cabin air filter costs $12 to $18 online versus $55 at the dealer. Ask if you can supply your own part. Some dealers and most independent shops allow this, eliminating their markup completely. You buy the part online and only pay labor. Get quotes from independent Mazda specialists who mark up parts 20% to 40%, not 200% to 300% like dealers. Verify expensive genuine parts are actually OEM by checking packaging and part numbers before installation. These 10 scams cost Mazda owners thousands of dollars every single day. Stay informed, ask questions, and don't let high-pressure tactics separate you from your hard-earned money. Your Skyactive engine was built to last 300,000 miles with proper maintenance. Don't let dealership greed cut that short. Now that you know how to avoid dealership scam, watch this next video where I'm revealing the 13 maintenance habits that will make your Mazda last over 500,000 miles without major repair. Your Mazda will thank you. Your wallet will too.